It's your friendly neighborhood Yawning Cat here, and we are back with the MC Command Center review part 2. So let's click MC Command Center on the computer. So like I said, 3 platforms: Mailbox, Computer, Sim, and Mailbox is global, Computer is settings, basically. Okay? So you can set the MC Command Center's settings themselves. So you can set the game to autosave. So you can, this all has everything to do with autosaving. Okay, autosaving the game. So autosaving has been disabled in one of the patches of The Sims 4, I think. And to some people, sorry, I'm just getting some coffee because it's early in the morning. It's like 8 a.m. I have work in a couple of hours, so I thought, hey, I'll do this. So some people really loved the function of autosaving because if their game crashes, if their computer can't really... I know that I used to have this on my laptop. Sometimes if I would move the camera too rapidly, it would sort of break. Then like the screen would turn black or white, then it would reset, and I would get scared that it would just crash and stop working at some point. So autosaving is a very good thing to have if you don't want to lose progress. For example, maybe like me, you record LPs, but you know, maybe in the middle of your LP you might have to, I don't know, maybe your electricity goes off or whatever, and you don't want to lose all the progress that you recorded. So there you go, autosave. Or maybe you're just playing casually and you don't want to lose progress. There you go, autosave settings. I'm not, gonna overanalyze this because you should know what autosaving is. If you don't, then just check these settings out on the MC Command Center. So we've got autosave settings, then we've got relationship settings. So you could set the friendship decay percentage. So we've got the percentage of normal decay relationship will lose. Okay. 100% is default, 0% is no decay. Higher than 100% will result in faster decay than normal. So we know that, Sims 4 is all about the cooling settings, which I do not like particularly. I don't understand how in real life people will add you on Facebook and will have you in their friends for freaking 5 to 10 years after having, one sentence with you, and you technically never fall out of touch with them because you're still acquaintances, at least on the level that you know each other on social media, right? And with Sims 4, it's all about, oh, you haven't chatted to this person for a couple of weeks. Well, you no longer know each other. Like that's, and then you have to give an introduction to them. And I'm like, well, yeah, some people tend to forget people, but most people remember the faces of people that they have met before. You wouldn't actually give them a friendly introduction after a couple of weeks and forget them. So here you could set the percent of the friendship decay. So I have set it on 0, which is cool because I haven't even remembered that I used this setting, but I did, and that's really cool that I figured that out. So yeah, I have used 0 because I don't like the decay of friendship. So that's it. Let's go back to romantic decay percentage. So it's the same thing, but it's with romance. And for that, I did leave 100 because, and hear me out, friendship is a very subjective thing. Romance, however, still requires mutual sort of attention given towards one another. So, for example, you hook up with the sim and, you get married, and for 5 years you're just busy, raising kids and doing stuff, and you don't interact with that guy that you once hooked up with. Well, obviously you won't have any romance left. Maybe like a little pink like resemblance of what you used to have, but you're not going to have the same romantic relationship. That person will have moved on through that time, hopefully. I mean, hopefully they're not like insane or something. Hashtag insane trait. So romantic decay percentage for me seems logical to be 0, but if you're one of those people that maybe you have a specific LP where or just like a save where you have this femme fatale that just seduces men and then just uses them for whatever, and they never fall out of love with her because she's so gorgeous, excellent, beautiful, and just mesmerizing. You could set the romance decay to 0%, but remember that these settings still apply to the whole world. You basically meddle with these for your own game, but remember that MC Command Center does influence the entire process of the game. So that means that other sims in your game will also never lose touch with their romantic interests. And that can possibly lead to you having a relationship with the sim who also has a non-decaying romantic relationship with 5 other sims. And that, my friends, is just a little bit too overcomplicated when it comes to that, because love is complicated as is. And then you have relationship cooling. So I have it set on the MC cleaner relationship cooling, I guess. But you could bypass it. Oh, crap, because now I'll have to, okay, there you go. A little tip for you. There are some changes to the algorithm of the game that will only activate after you restart the game, because they will have to sort of reconfigure themselves as you restart the game. So just remember that there are some settings that you can just set and they will be in play from the moment you push the button. But there will be some settings like relationship cooling, which is very global and very complex. You will have to restart your computer and, well, not your computer, your game, for them to activate. So I'm gonna go back. Then we've got notification console menu settings. So notification settings. So I guess, you could have different sort of notifications. So you could get death notifications, which, by the way, I should turn on. Oh my god. Related to active household. Yes. Remember how in Sims 3 you would get those notifications about like that person's like last final days or them passing away, and your sim would sort of feel sad after losing that sim. And now it's more like, oh, my mother died. Like no emotion, none whatsoever. Like her mother shows up dead in her relationships bar, but she doesn't even grieve, she doesn't even care. And I mean, there are some people that wouldn't care. There are some bad mothers, there are some bad parents. But what if you play an LP? What if you play and your sim moves out of their parents' house, but they still have a great relationship with them? They meet up for dinners, they, raise their children. Their parents help them raise their children, and they stop by and everything. And then one day they're just dead, and then your sim doesn't even give a crap. That's just not realistic. So you could do this. You could have related to active household sims dying being a notification that shows up in this corner right here. You could have NPCs deaths being reported to you. You could have only the played household. If one of the household members dies, you would get a notification anyway, but I don't know, maybe this thinks that you won't. I don't know. No, I mean, it is the played only. I mean, I would know when the played sim is dying, but whatever. You could have active friends only, active romance only. You could have, if anybody in the entire world dies, you could have a notification show up of that. So you can have that. You could have a JEP notifications. So when somebody turns from a toddler into a child and all that jazz, you could show NPC birthday notifications that they aged up, or that what? Well, anyway, that stuff. Then you have, so that's notification settings. That's show menu settings. I don't know what that means. Wait, defines whether or not the MC Command Center menu is visible on Sims or the real panel, providing various Sim-specific commands. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Okay. Okay, so I have it so that if I have another sim in the world, if I click on them, the MC Command Center menu will show up in the interaction, so then I can meddle with the sim if I want to. That's that. And then there you go, there you go. So show computer menu, right? So if enabled, an MC Command Center menu is visible on computers for configuring module settings. So this means that this that we are looking at will pop up if you press the computer. Then show sim menu means that if you click on any sim, the sim menu will show up. And then the cheats menu is all mailboxes will give you the cheats menu. So I just made it available so that wherever I am, if I have a mailbox, a PC, or a sim, I can meddle with the settings of them or the game or the global setting of the world. So there we go. We figured that one out together. And I guess I have meddled with it before, but it was at the very beginning when I started playing with it. See, I have even forgotten how many functions it has. So then you have console command settings. No, whatever. So you can enable full edit CAS. So for me, it's enabled. That means that you know that there's a cheat, right? That you can, I think it's full edit mode CAS, full edit mode on or something. And it's a cheat that allows you to edit every single part of a sim when you go into create a sim. That means that you can pull at the facial features, the body features, and all that jazz. Usually you can't. You can only edit their clothes and their sort of external features, which is, hair color, hair, and external features like, clothes and shoes and accessories. But with full edit CAS, you can edit anything that you want about them, which means you can make any sim hotter on demand without, once again, having that, line of text. Sometimes you'll forget what the mod is, not the mod, the cheat is. You'll have to Google it. With MC Command Center, just a few button clicks away, you can enable full edit CAS. And I have it enabled. Obviously, I have LPs going on, and even without LPs, even when I'm playing on my spare time, I like to be able to change whatever the heck I want about another sim if I see that, they're really unattractive, but my sim somehow started having a romantic relationship with them, or they're just a sim that just needs a little bit of tweaking done. I do the tweaking. Then you've got testing cheats. So that means that, once again, you would have to press Control Shift C and enter testing cheats enabled, right? Right. With this, you can just make it so that it's always on. The testing cheat will always be on in your game as long as you have mods and script mods enabled. Then we've got headline effects, which means that there is once again a cheat for removing all headline effects. Here, you could just enable or disable headline effects and you wouldn't have to do anything. So you just click disabled if you didn't want to see them, if you're filming like machinimas or whatever, or just videos of sims that you want to remember. You could just disable their headline effect and then just as easily enable them. Then you can have hover effects. So white outline around sims and objects will always be hidden upon loading the game. So I have hover effects enabled. I don't really care much for them, but I guess if you were filming a machinima and such, you would want them to be disabled because you don't want everything in your world to be outlined and stuff. So Then you've got debug commands in cheats, which means that when this is enabled, debug commands will be available along with cheats when testing cheats are enabled. Which debug commands, I think there's a lot of debug items, so I guess you'd like them to have them on. I'm actually just going to turn them on because I'm interested about the debug thingamajig. I haven't turned it on and I wonder why. Then you've got build by settings. So, oh my goodness. Okay, wait. Oh, by debug enabled. Yeah, I want that enabled, please. So there we go, build by settings. We all know about the move objects cheat, the free build cheat, and the ignore unlocks enable cheat. If you know about the ignore unlocks cheat, it's a cheat used to unlock items that are only unlockable with career achievements, right? So if you want that fancy bed that only a master painter can get, you go to ignore unlocks enabled and you make it so that if enabled, the ignore unlocks cheat will always be enabled upon loading the game, which for me is enabled, which means I can buy the inspiration building fridge that only a chef could get. I can buy the coffee pot that only a successful career person would get after some like third level in business or whatevs. So I can get anything from the store. I'm not limited to career achievements. If I want to free build, which means I get to build for free all the time. I could enable this cheat, but I don't because I find it, realistic that we build with money and not like just for free. But what if you are playing some rich household and they go into and they are building their own little cabin in the woods, or because they go to Granite Falls and they have their own little cabin that they built some time ago. Maybe they're building it for free because they own the land and they own a company that owns all the wood and all the equipment, and so they don't have to pay a dime. You would turn on free build for that because you don't want to spend money on it. It's whatever your imagination wants, but here you go. There's a button for it and you can click it. And then you've got move objects enabled. I have that cheat always on. It's a bother to always enter BB move objects on. With this, you just press a button and it's on. And I'm not saying that like, oh, everybody be as lazy as me. No, but it's just that for me, building with move objects on is just so much more realistic because you can squeeze things right next to each other. You can place, an end table right next to the bed if you need to. You don't have to leave a freaking, 20 centimeters space between the bed and the end table. I would never have that because I would probably want those things to touch. Anyway, move objects cheat is awesome and I like having it on, and there you freaking go. Then yeah, so these are all the settings for build by settings and you can set them here as well. And then we can go back. So that was console command settings. And then you've got phone text. So you will get all texts that people send you. You can have it set to no texts. And you could possibly have that only festival texts will show up when your phone is silenced. This setting will set what text messages you will receive when your phone is silenced. So that's pretty cool because I silence my phone and I still get messages. So I guess what I should do is set to no text if my phone is silenced, because that's just logical that I don't want to talk to people. So let's go back and see what we have there. So this was notification console menu settings. Now, as you see, the computer has a lot more settings. Then you've got money settings, and I just want to show you one thing that I really, really love, which you can definitely check this out a little bit more. But what I love about money settings, and as you can see, this is all self-explanatory. So you could pay child support or get paid child support. You could set the child support percent, change bills percent. So if you think that, couple of thousands of simoleons a month for a house that's just nicely decorated is realistic, that's, for you to judge. But if you think that what you would be paying is just 1,000 for all the utilities plus the mortgage, then you can set the change bill percent and you can just make it smaller. Then you've got apartment bill percent, which applies to apartments. And you've got auto pay bills. So if you get bills, you don't have to go to the mailbox. You can do it. Some banks, well, at least here in Lithuania, we even have this thing where you can just set it so that they deduct money from your account whenever you've got bills or whatever. So I guess this would be, auto pay bills. You don't have to go anywhere. You get, a bill and you automatically pay it from your bank account and you don't have to do anything else. But what I really love about this is that there is a thing called child support, which is very, very realistic. So, and I think you've seen it in my single mom LP. I mean, you should have definitely seen it there. So, child support is that you could set it that if a child is not living with both parents, this setting can allow money to be removed from or paid to the active SIM household. Child support payments and earnings will happen for single parents with children living with them regardless of married status. So you could choose that if only if the Sims that have children together but are not living together and they're married, that then the married spouse with the child would get the child support. You could have that if they were unmarried and they had a child and they are living separately, that then they would get child support. I set it so that if there are, so the all setting means that if you've got two parents of a child living separately and one of them is raising the kid, then no matter what happens, no matter if they're married, unmarried, dead or alive, they're gonna get paid child support from the other parent. So that's that. None and default are the same thing because technically the game does not have child support, so the default is, the non-selected thingamajig, which it even shows default value for the setting is none. And then we've got gameplay settings. So you could have it so that it would pause on zone. Now, I can just explain this to you without even clicking. Pause on zone means that when you arrive at a venue, the game will pause, which for me, when I would play on my laptop, things would happen where I would go to a place, right? Let's say I'm going to the Pan Europa nightclub and I get the sound effect of me arriving, but the screen of the plumb bob spinning is still there. I can hear my sim talk, I can hear that things are happening, but I'm not yet in the playing stage. So basically, then the plumb bob screen slowly lags away. And what I see is that my sim has managed to flirt with somebody, order a drink, and is now dancing when I never even wanted that sim to dance in the first place because they are very introverted and I wanted them to go to that club so that they would conform because their friend invited them there. So right, for my storyline's purpose, my Sims autonomy, which I like having on because I don't want to have my Sims on a leash for 24/7. So for storytelling purposes, my sim has already done something that I never wanted them to do. And because of my game not rendering as fast on my laptop, I cannot have full control of what I want the story of that sim to be. So pause on zone, especially if you have, if you just want to set up the date or the meeting or whatever, or if you have this specific lag that I'm talking about where you arrive at a place and your sim has already arrived, but the game is still loading for you, and so you have no control over it. Pause on zone is a great solution because it will just pause the game, and when the screen of yours that's freaking laggy as hell will load, you will just have your sim stuck in one position, paused, and waiting for you to press unpause and play however you want to play, which is really great in my opinion. Then put away books fixed. So there was a thing where Sims wouldn't put away books after reading them. So if you click this, you will have it enabled. So they will, if enabled, Sims will attempt to put away books when they finish reading or doing homework. So that means that, they won't just leave books and notebooks lying around everywhere. They will actually be more likely to put away the book or the notebook that they were using. Then you've got game time speed. So I guess the default value is 25. The number of real-time milliseconds for every sim second. The default is 25, and less than that makes days go faster and greater makes days go slower. So I guess, if you would like to play in real time, you could do that, which is, 24 hours. So every sim minute would be a normal minute, even though they probably still move and act the way that they do, but the time here will go a lot slower. But you could basically change your game speed if you would like. Then you have Sims die on lot. So it used to be that the Reaper will only show up if they are on the lot. If they are wandering the streets, they will just turn to ghosts. Okay. Oh yeah, because there's a cheat in the sim thingamajig where you can kill a sim, and it means that if they die on your lot, the Reaper will come and he will take them away. It won't just reset. It won't just be like, oh, they're dying. Oh, now there's an urn or a grave piece on the grass, So you can do that. Then you've got what we were talking about with the mailbox, skill difficulty adjustment. So change skill progression to be slower or faster. Valid settings are from -10 to 10 with a default of 0. Negative is slower progress, positive is faster. So you could have it so that right now there is no adjustment of skill difficulty, right? But you can make it so that all Sims would gain skills like, 2 times faster, and so you could just have 2 here instead of 0, and that would aid you in gaining skills faster, which is pretty self-explanatory. Once again, you can adopt neglected baby. If enabled, when it is determined that a baby is neglected, they will be adopted by another household in the world rather than taken away by social services. That's really, I don't think that was there before. I mean, they have added modules and stuff to the MC Command Center, which is really cool. One other thing that's really cool about MC Command Center is that it updates with all the updates and all the new content. So you will never fall behind, because the modders responsible for the MC Command Center, they sort of try to give you a new version as fast as they can when a new patch happens or whatever. So it's a really effective mod, and it gets new stuff added all the time. I definitely haven't seen the adopt neglected baby, but I feel like that's pretty realistic, so I'm going to enable it. Guys. Then you've got maximum household size. So you could increase that. You could make it so that an actual maximum size wouldn't be 8 Sims. It could be 25. It could be 10 Sims. So like when pets come along, right, and they add to your household size, maybe you want or maybe you want to decrease it. Because you could definitely, you could probably decrease this, I think. I know that you probably can. I know that there are settings where you can set how many children you can even have in a household. We're going to get that in a minute. But I think you could actually change it so you could only have like 6 Sims. So for example, you're limited, and then you know that you won't have any more unexpected pregnancies if you've got the risky woohoo on and stuff. So you've got maximum household size. And I know that some people want more Sims in their family, so you can do that. But you have to see that. Note that if this is changed to more than 8, cast will not function correctly to show all Sims in the household. So there you go. Just be aware that this can upgrade your your capacity of the household, but it's not gonna actually, make it so that you can edit all of them. It can't overrun the game's system of working, So we're gonna go back, and that's it for gameplay settings. And because the second part of the MC Command Center review is quite long, because the computer does have a lot more settings than the interactions between you and the mailbox and you and the sim, we are going to split it into two halves, and the other half will be coming on this channel shortly. So if you like this episode of the MC Command Center review, then click the like button down below. If you've got any questions so far, write them in the comment section. And if you're watching this and you're not yet a member of the fam and you found this helpful, then do subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys. Bye!